Being the first, being original, and being innovative. There is a frequently missed out on difference between being the first, being original, and being innovative. To figure out that someone, or something, has been the first, we require to apply a temporal test. It needs to respond to at least three concerns: just what was done, when precisely was it done, and was this ever done before? To identify whether someone, or something, is original, a test of substance needs to be used. It should respond to a minimum of the following concerns: what exactly was done, when precisely was it done, and was this ever done prior to? If somebody, or something, is ingenious, an useful test has to be used, to determine. It must respond to at least the following questions: exactly what was done, in which way was it done, and was exactly this ever done before in exactly the same way. Reviewing the tests above leads us to two conclusions. 1. Being first and being initial are more carefully linked than being first and being innovative, or than being original and being ingenious. The tests applied to figure out firstness and originality are the same. 2. The tests are the exact same, the focus is not. To determine whether somebody or something is an initially, we mostly ask when, while to identify creativity we primarily ask what.
Innovation helps in the preservation of resources and, therefore, in the fragile act of human survival.
Being first shows expediency, it is possible. By being original, what is needed or can be done is expounded upon. And by being innovative, the practical element is exposed, how needs to it be done. Society rewards these pathfinders with status and lavishes other concrete and intangible benefits upon them, mainly upon the originators and the innovators. Since they do not straight open a new course, they simply demonstrate that such a path is there. The firsts are typically overlooked. The originators and the innovators are the ones who discover, expose, invent, assembled, or explain in words something in a way which allows others to duplicate the accomplishment, really to rebuild the procedure, with a lesser financial investment of effort and resources. It is possible to be very first and not be original. Because being first is context reliant, this is: had I traveled to a tribe in the Amazon forests and estimated a speech of Kennedy to them, I would hardly have been original. However, I would definitely have actually been the first to have done so in that context, of that specific people at that particular time. Popularizers of modern science and religious missionaries are all initially at doing their thing, but they are not original. It is their audience which identifies their firstness, and history which shows their absence of creativity. A lot of us transform the wheel. It is humanly difficult to be knowledgeable about all that was written and done by others before us. Uninformed of the reality that we are not the first, neither initial or innovative, we file patent applications, make discoveries in science, exploit not-so-new themes in the arts. Society might judge us in a different way than we view ourselves to be less innovative and initial. Thus, possibly, is the syndrome of the misinterpreted genius. Admittedly, things are easier for those people who utilize words as their basic material. There are many permutations, that the probability of not being very first or innovative with words is small. Thus the copyright laws. Yet, given that originality is determined by the compound of the produced concept content, the chances of being initial along with first are slim. At most, we wind up restating or rephrasing old concepts. The situation is even worse, and the tests more strenuous, when it comes to non-verbal fields of human venture, as any candidate for a patent can attest. But then surely this is too severe. Do not all of us base on the shoulders of giants? Can one be initially, even innovative without assimilating the experience of previous generations? Can development occur in vacuum, discontinuously and disruptively? Isn't intellectual continuity a prerequisite? True, a researcher innovates, checks out, and discovers on the basis of a rather random and limited selection of previous explorations and research study. He even uses equipment to determine and perform other functions that was created by his predecessors. However, progress and advance are possible without access to the gold mine of the past. Real again, the very idea of development requires contrast with the past. But language, in this case, defies truth. Some development comes out of the blue, with no predecessors. Scientific revolutions are not smooth evolutionary procedures. Even biological evolution is no longer thought about a smooth affair. They are stage shifts, paradigmatic modifications, jumps, fits and begins rather than orderly unfolding syllogisms. Kuhn, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. There is very little connection in quantum mechanics, or perhaps in the relativity theories. There is even less in modern genes and immunology. The notion of laboriously utilizing foundation to build an ebony tower of science is not supported by the history of human knowledge. And what about the first human who had a thought or invented a gadget? On what did he base himself and whose work did he continue? Innovation is the father of brand new context. Original ideas form the human neighborhood, and the firsts among us determine the rules of the video game. There is really little connection in the alternate processes called creation and revolution. Our reactions to new things and adjustment to the brand new world in their wake basically stay the exact same. It is there that connection is to be found.